Being in the industry of rent-to-rent service accommodation, especially we helping clients growing their business, obviously helping them getting bookings for the last 6 years.
Single mum of three is worried her rent will go up again, like it did 6 months ago.
We have never experienced a rental market like it before.
Serviced accommodation management. Is it a good business to be in? Should you be doing it?
I really want to put a reality through in this video about a rent-to-rent model, especially about the pros, the cons in 2024, because every year we've gone through 2018, 2019, 2020, that big thing happened, everyone shut down, loads of property was handed over. 21 we slowly got back, and 22, 23 it's been great for people going back into the model itself, really looking at the processes. But look, there is a reality for rent-to-rent, and in this video I want to sit down and make sure that if you're about to invest on a rent-to-rent model, I want you to know everything before you go into it, so you're prepared, you're ready to take action, and hopefully make a success out of this business. So guys, look, later on this video I'm going to go through the details around why you're going to be unique, and if you follow us, we talk about getting those direct bookings, speaking to landlords on rent-to-rent. I've done a video on how to speak to a letting agent. I actually called a letting agent, but you will be able to learn everything you want in this video, so make sure you stick around till the end and you will get to understand the process. But without further ado guys, my name is Piers BK from GrowYourBnb.com. We've been doing this for the last 6 years, worked with thousands of operators worldwide, and today let's go into this video straight away. Well, if you're new, just to understand how rent-to-rent model works, for me, rent-to-rent is when you rent a property from a landlord or a letting agent, obviously in the UK term, and then you re-let it out as long as you've got the right agreement in place to do a Airbnb, or some cases HMO. Now in this channel I'm only going to talk about Airbnb, so that is effectively what is rent-to-rent, and you can obviously make sure that you're having that right agreement in place, then it works. But if you don't, then you're doing it in the wrong way, and also more importantly, there's a lot of people who do it in the wrong way, so you don't want to be one of them. The pros. Now I'm going to talk about 3 major pros about rent-to-rent. Firstly being a very, very low investment model compared to a purchase, right? So if you think about property business, you've got to go and buy a property, and obviously to buy a property there's a lot of higher deposit in place. Obviously it builds your asset and stuff like that, but in a nutshell you need a lot of money. So for me, as a business in nutshell, I see a lot of people I know, especially now, we're active on Instagram, and I speak to a lot of younger people who wants to get into business and wants to get into property. It's a great structure because reality here again, I've done a video before where if you don't do a mentorship and you really take advantage of a channel like mine, or there's many other channels where you can sit down and really go through, you want to learn about how to really run a service accommodation and an Airbnb business. I've done pretty much every single video in this channel for free, and the reality here is you get to only invest on a setup, pay the rent, obviously understand a little bit around cash flow, which is what I'm going to talk about later in this video, because cash flow is king, and also cash flow sometimes is also a help to boost your business. The second thing a lot of people don't talk about is scaling is very easy, right? I normally say to my clients, you've got to understand that you've got to have an appetite to run this as a business. But if you're looking at scaling up to 5 units and you've got the funds to back it up, and let's say you are a partner, your couple, you both agree to fund 2.5 and 2.5 of the units, you're now all of a sudden on 5 units. That's when this business really starts paying off, because 5 units, you need 1 bad performing unit, which is eventually it's going to happen. You're not going to get all the 5 units performing every single month. You might have challenges. Remember, landlords, if there's something wrong with the property and you can't fix it and landlord's not willing to action it quick, you've got to close your calendar. You're going to lose money. So for me, that is very scaling is very easy on this unit, and especially scaling up to that number quickly, which is that 5, and making that, let's say, an average of 4,000 out of 5 units. That's more sensible way of growth. Thirdly, less worry and commitment. Now, Although, yes, you have signed the agreement. And obviously, if you're new to this channel, I've spoken about breakout clause on your tenancy agreement. So let's say, in a nutshell, if you've got a 12-month agreement or a 24 or 36 months agreement with a landlord, you can effectively put a 6 months break clause your end, not their end, your end, just to see in 6 months if the property isn't doing what you think. So the commitment style of rent to rent, I love it, because yes, you can, and I've done a video about how many operators fell, actually, believe it or not. The seasoned investor who's got one unit fell in their first 18 to 24 months and they give their unit back. And I've done a separate video about it, and do go and watch it. But that's because it's less commitment and you're coming out with effectively a little bit of financial worry, probably, but not to a point that you've lost everything and you're living and everything. So really pros for me is those 3 things. Now, with every business, it comes with the cons, right? The consequences. Now, for me, the first one is being in the industry 6 years. It's a incredible growing market. Now, when I say that, there's units going live in your investment area or the investment area that you want to invest in pretty much every other day right now, especially, or there's at least a deal being done, right? Now, sadly to say, people who's got 1 or 2 units and the budget and the cash flow for just 1 or 2 units, the likely chances are scaling will be a problem. You're going to stick to making profit, right? Which means you're going to do okay and you might make the extra money. That's going to, that £5,000, which is going to pay off for your holiday, and you have something extra coming in to fund something else for your lifestyle, but it's not really going to make a life-changing money. The second thing I discuss, which I openly discuss with all my clients, and one of the reasons why rent to rent is always a challenging business, is the landlord's consent. Now, how does a landlord consent work is when you're agreeing with, let's say, a estate agent to say, hey, I'm going to use this property as a company-let service accommodation, the consent from the landlord has also got to go with the mortgage company. If you're new to this channel, by the way, I've done a video on this, but you're going to spend time writing to the estate agent saying, hey, has the landlord got a right mortgage, so then I can use it as a Airbnb short-term rental business. Effectively, the mortgage style works is a buy-to-let mortgage in the UK. Let's say a landlord is paying 4% on just their buy-to-let mortgage. However, a short-term rental mortgage is nearly 7%. So this is where the biggest challenge comes in our industry. Landlord will say yes to you, even though they haven't spoken to the mortgage company, which legally is the biggest issue right now in the Airbnb business in 2024 and over the last few years in the UK. And like I said earlier in the video, the third thing I want to talk about is cash flow. The cons about this business, and the reality is, look, the cash flow brings a lot of people go in this business with the end of the fund, right? So you've got 3,000 paid to mentorship, you're spending 5,000-6,000 trying to pay the deposit, the rent, and your investment to set up the unit. The reality is now that if you don't have cash flow to fund your unit for another 3 months without any business coming in, which is what I'm so surprised that a lot of mentors don't talk about it as a business. Now, I know I'm all about going and action in there, delivering, and sometimes you've got to learn as you go, but I know a lot of people right now in 2024 who's started the unit just after December, hasn't got enough money on cash flow to actually survive. So the question is, they've been in the business 2-3 months, they've launched the property in a very wrong time, they're not making money. So now what are they going to do? They don't have cash flow, which means either they've got to go and get themselves a loan, they've either got to work more hours in their work to fund, which is what we've done with, we've saved a lot of clients doing that. One of the reviews, if you look at from Nick, who was working with a management company in Manchester with 2 units last year, we saved his business, effectively literally saved his business, because the management company were losing him money. So every month he had to pay it out his pocket, and he was working 7 days a week. And actually, he was not getting any bookings. The calendars were empty. Versus when he came and worked with us, we had to really take time to build his brand, kind of understand his property. The same property, both of them are now making an average of £800 net profit. However, guys, remember, he's burnt out because he's already lost so much money with his management company. So effectively, cash flow, understand your cash flow, understand your 12 months before you start this business. Well, having said that, guys, look, 90% of people we work with are doing rent-to-rent model, and within my sessions and my client support managers, their sessions with clients, we always ask them saying, hey, like, what's your cash flow strategy like? What would you do if your business how would you survive if there's another lockdown? And, it makes you think about the reality of rent-to-rent in 2024. It's no longer like what it used to be in 2018, where, hey, go and get a unit. It's actually very easy. List it on Airbnb and booking.com. Yes, don't get me wrong. If you want to bang on city centre apartment, then the likely chances are, yes, you will make money. But on the back of that, there's going to be a lot of turnaround and expenses, your cleaners, your house. It's the net that you care about. What do you put in your pocket? That's going to make a difference. So guys, look, I hope you enjoyed another detailed GrowYourBnb video. And really, for me, for the last few videos I've made, I wanted to make sure that we've been very transparent. People who come and watch my channel, they know that I'm giving information that not a lot of mentors cover. And I want to make sure that you guys are learning the process, making sure you're understanding this process, making sure you're taking notes. Get a notebook and write down all the videos I talk about, because I can tell you this, that it will save you thousands of pounds when you action your Airbnb and short-term rental business. So guys, thank you so much for watching another GrowYourBnb video. I will be back with another video soon, and please make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe.